Thank you for joining me, Jill Wilson from the Equality Practice. Today, I have the enormous pleasure of being able to introduce a man I've known for 7 years now, a man many say is always generous with his time and support. He is an immigrant himself to the UK, having arrived from Zimbabwe at the tender age of 20. He now lives in Northeast Lincolnshire, having met and married a local lass. They made this their home, and it is where they have raised their family. He is an experienced business person and entrepreneur, and a passionate believer in the importance of local business and the local business community. Mark Webb, Managing Director of eFactor, welcome to Including Me.
Thank you very much, Jill. It's an absolute pleasure to be here. The tender age of 20, you know.
How long ago was that then, Mark?
let's not dwell on that, shall we? It's probably not very important.
No. I don't want to go there either. Mark, from the moment we met, we have discussed equality and inclusion. And you've always been a huge supporter of the work that the Equality Practice does. Yeah. What motivates you to get behind inclusion?
Well, I think apart from your persuasiveness, of course, it took that. Look, you're right. You and I have had many discussions over the years, and you know we haven't always agreed with them. But at the base of them all, I think has always been an agreement that that this is an important subject, and it's a topic that gets right to the heart of what makes us a fair society, what makes us human, and what makes the society we want to build. So I think getting involved in inclusion, particularly from a business point of view, everyone has their views and opinions, even from a business point of view. You know, not being inclusive when you're running a business is simply cutting off your nose to spite your face. You are missing out on a whole tranche of potential employees and employees that you retain, who deliver for your business, create more jobs, create more wealth, create more economy for the area. You're missing out on that simply because you are not aware of the needs of other people. You're not aware of the challenges that other people are facing. If you just took a little time to do that, if you just took time to think, well, everyone has challenges that we need to help them overcome, you could open up a whole wealth of new talent into your organization. What a shame to miss out on that. So, you know, the hard economics about inclusion is that your business should embrace inclusion in order to tap into both an employee market and a customer market that you might be missing.
A lot of people look up to you in our area. You're a leader and an influencer in Northeast Lincolnshire.
Am I an influencer, Jill?
I certainly hope so. You are. I think a lot of people, they turn to you. They want to know your opinion. And if somebody was to turn to you and say, "Hey, Mark, you know this equality and inclusion stuff, I get it, but how do you do it? Where do I start?" Would you know what to say? What would your advice be?
Well, yes, I do. I do know where to start. You start with what's right and what is right. And again, if I'll focus on as an employer, what's right for the business that you're trying to take forward. And the only answer to that is when you're looking at your workforce or the people that you need around you, you need the right people with the right skills. That's what you need. And if you can create an environment where anyone with those skills, it doesn't matter what their background is, it doesn't matter what ethnic background they have, or whether they're gay or straight, or whether they're disabled, or whatever choice they make and how they're going to live their life, if they have skills that they can bring to your business, and you can create a company that makes them feel welcome, that makes them feel that they can enter into that company without having to change or conform what they are in order to be part of it, then you can tap into those skills in order to help grow your business. You know, there's a word that we use regardless of whether we're talking about inclusion or not. When we're talking about employees, we talk about people feeling valued. I take great pride in my company that every single one of my employees feels valued, not because they're good at a particular part of the job, but because of who they are. And if you feel valued, whatever challenges you're facing in your life, if you can go to a place for work where you feel valued and respected by people, your colleagues and your bosses and your customers, then that becomes a place of sanctuary and a place where you want to commit to and you want to do your best for, because you feel that they've got your back. And if you're an inclusive employer, you're basically saying I've got your back. You're saying to everyone, I've got your back, and that's so valuable for everyone. Does that answer the question?
Yeah, I think it answers the question really well. And I think what we tend to see in Northeast Lincolnshire is we've only got a very small minority community, that's for sure, but it is growing. And as our economy grows and as our development of the big local that we're talking about, we want to be able to attract more people to our community rather than lose them.
And I have to say, Jill, that it doesn't, whether there is one person from an ethnic minority in this town or 10,000, it doesn't make a difference. They're still, they may still bring, however many of them are, that they are part of our community. They will bring the skills that you need. They'll bring value to the community that you need, and it doesn't make a difference. So it doesn't matter. We shouldn't be any more or less inclusive depending on how many people of a minority ethnic group, for example, live in our community. That shouldn't make any difference.
It is true, and we say it doesn't make any difference, but to the people that are from a minority community, it does make a difference, because, and this is how many people from the ethnically diverse communities look at it, they need to see somebody just like them that are in positions of authority, that are leaders and influencers in our community, and they need to have a sense of belonging. And if there aren't people in our community that look like them, what tends to happen is these very well qualified young people leave our town to find themselves in cities. And what a shame that is, to lose, the growing talent from the ethnically diverse communities. I know we're losing talent from all the communities, but to be able to influence a recruitment agenda that might see diverse communities in our leadership of the authority or councillors. We've got very few, but it's about being able to create that community where everybody's seen.
Yeah, absolutely. That is, there is no mistaking. You can't just say, look, everyone should be treated equally, so that'll all be fine. There are clearly disadvantaged people in our community. There are clearly minority people in or people of minority ethnic groups, or there are disabled people or transgender people who are facing things that I don't altogether understand or that I don't recognize. But what I do recognize is that if we are really truly talking about inclusion, then we have to create a proper level playing field. And that means if you're already disadvantaged, you need more of a hand up than somebody who is less disadvantaged than you are, or is less privileged than you are, to use that word. So I recognize that. I remember seeing that cartoon, that graphic that talked about, that had two people, they were trying to describe equality, and had people looking over a fence at a football match, and one was tall and one was short, and I'm not explaining this very well, but
I know which one. It was three people, and it was 4 boxes.
Right. Okay. Better explain to me. But basically, the premise was that for people who were shorter, the box had to be bigger.
They had to have 2 boxes, not 1.
Yes, that's right. Yeah, or 2 boxes. And so that illustrates it. Look, in any, bringing it back to business, if you are a leader of business, if you are thinking what's right for your community or for your business community, then you have to look at our pool of people and talent in this area. And like many towns of our size, we are struggling for people gifted and talented and experienced and hardworking. We struggle for the right amount of people to fit the amount of jobs that will be available here. We cannot afford, and nor should we, to be picky and choosy about who we take on as employees and as part of our workforce. There is so much talent out there that we're missing if that's what we do. So I can only say, if you're in business and you want to succeed, to be inclusive means you are adding a real potential to your business that you'll be missing out on otherwise.
Well, we couldn't say it any better, could we, Mark?
Probably could if we had another go, but
No, I think that's great. It's absolutely true. And at this point, I want to say, I don't think there's anything more that we can say. I think you've said, you've put it out there, and all I can do is say thank you very much. Thank you for joining me on Including Me, and I look forward to the next time that we chat.
Thank you very much, Jill. It's been an absolute pleasure. Thanks a lot.
Thank you, Mark.
Cheers.